I'm Judea Murray, and here on a positive note, we highlight the most heartwarming stories from all around our tri-state that move and inspire us. Now, following peaceful turned violent protests in this borough, one teen made it his mission to help rebuild small businesses in the Bronx, and he's challenged his neighbors to get up and move.
Dozens of mostly Bronx high school and college students gathered in Van Cortlandt Park today for a 5K. But they weren't just out for exercise. Instead, organizer 19-year-old Michael Romero came up with the idea to raise money for Bronx businesses that were looted in the last few weeks. Romero says he wanted to show positivity still exists in the borough. He says it all grew through social media, dozens coming out after seeing Instagram posts and telling friends. With a bake sale, a donation table, and a run through the park, organizers and participants say it's a good time for a good cause.
And I thought these riots probably portray the Bronx and the community probably as a self-destructive one. And I thought that we should probably show others that it's not. It's one that uplifts people. It kind of builds up and we take care of our own.
I just thought it would be nice just to come out and run and also support everything that's going on with the world.
Meanwhile, in New Jersey, walking the streets of some neighborhoods may seem eerie as many businesses are temporarily boarded up. One local artist is working to change that narrative, one positive message at a time.
The city is artist Leon Rainbow's canvas, spray paint, and imagination, his way of making a difference.
I'm not a politician or an activist or anything, I'm an artist.
Rainbow was inspired after seeing some Trenton businesses boarded up from damage or as a precaution after a recent protest over the death of George Floyd. He organized a group of artist friends to turn the boards into a colorful urban art gallery with as many messages of hope as possible.
In the most important times in the city, that's when people really come together, and I feel like that's important.
Rainbow says he understands that while property owners who gave permission to paint will soon take down the boards, he hopes anyone who sees them is inspired, mind and heart.
During the pandemic, there are still local organizations working hard to keep people fed. We're shining a spotlight on one in Connecticut that's providing for our restaurant workers who are out of a job.
We have a team of 4 that literally started when the pandemic hit.
The initiative that started as Food for the Front Lines is pivoting to help unemployed restaurant workers keep food on the table.
These are the restaurants that feed us. I mean, it's a big industry here in the state of Connecticut, and we want to give back by taking care of them.
Working with local wholesalers, the group says they've already managed to feed over 800 people.
We're able to assemble a lot of groceries for really, really cheap.
Jess Bengtson is the executive chef at Terrain in Westport. She's in charge of putting together the pantry boxes.
Not like cereal and mac and cheese. We're putting in bananas, avocados, fruit, vegetables, healthy food.
The boxes are paid for by donations through GoFundMe, along with the sale of a new digital cookbook from CT Bites.
Chef's Recipes for Restaurant Relief. It's a compilation of 100 recipes from chefs all across the state of Connecticut.
When she had the idea about the cookbook, I was like, dude, that's genius.
Bengtson says she was one of the book's first contributors and first customers.
I'm flipping through the pages and be like, oh man, I can't believe that Arethusa gave out this recipe, or Mecha gave out this recipe. People really showed up.
Organizers say at $25, every book sold could feed a family of 4 for a week.
Your money goes a long way, and there are a lot of appreciative people on the other end of it.
And this group isn't alone.
When the pandemic hit, many Long Islanders quickly did what they know best, give back. 18-year-old Jake Shangold from Oldfield was one of them.
I want to help out people in need. I really want to, get inspired by this.
Jake, with the help of Food Bank Island Harvest, set up an online virtual food drive for people to donate money for those in need.
First, I handed out flyers to everyone in my neighborhood, and got the word out through them. And then after that happened, then I started posting on social media, online, everywhere, and tried to get people to donate.
Jake's participation in this was really fantastic. He was one of the first people that jumped on board when we started doing new virtual food drives.
Gianna Vatone of Island Harvest said Jake's food drive raised nearly $3,000.
He'll provide over 6,000 meals for people in need from all of his hard work.
It's the courage, it's, the neediness. People are much less fortunate again, and and I just was like, you know what? I want to help out so many people that do not have food and aren't going to be able to pay for the food.
We've seen so much more of that since this pandemic has started, just people who really needed to feel some kind of worth being in quarantine and wanted to do something to help people in need who were affected by this pandemic. So Jake's a great example of that.
Long Islanders being Long Islanders and stepping up.
You know, when things get really tough, I can't help but think about how it only takes one bulb to light up a dark room. For Oldfield, New York, that's Jake. And for Wayne, New Jersey, that's Brian Schwartz. Brian Schwartz recently lost his job in insurance, but he's using his moment of misfortune to be a blessing for others. Schwartz says if you've got a lawn that needs mowing, give him a call. He'll do it for free. According to Schwartz, he'd really like to help the elderly and those in underprivileged areas, but his offer is open to anyone in North Jersey. You can find out how to reach him on news12.com or iwanttomowyourlawn.com. Now to Connecticut, these guys have been working on the front lines tirelessly for months. And yet, only recently did they actually graduate from the medical program. Allow me to introduce you to the Thoughtful 13 who have proven their dedication to health and wellness in our communities. Training methods for this group of grads changed drastically when COVID-19 hit. The medical residents at Greenwich Hospital have been working beside critical care doctors, caring for even the sickest of patients suffering from the coronavirus for months now. Though it was stressful and sometimes tough, the students say these experiences have helped shape their professional and personal development in incredible ways.
It was very different from what I had started off with, and I think I gained a lot of knowledge from it, and I gained a lot of experience that I'll be able to take away from here.
I do think we all came together as a class as best as we could to get through the tough times and the hard days. So today is a little bit of a marking of that.
Of the 13 graduates you see today, 7 completed their residency in a 1-year program, while the 6 others finished up after 3 years. They all received a special pin recognizing their contributions and efforts during the pandemic. And that brings us to today's Did You Know, full of new knowledge you'll be happier for knowing. While we're talking about those on our front lines, did you know there's an MTV special all about a crew of young EMS volunteers in the Bronx? If you haven't seen it yet, get ready for true life, first time, first responders. The documentary follows volunteers at the Throgs Neck Volunteer Ambulance Corps on East Tremont Avenue. The volunteers filmed themselves during the height of the pandemic, and let's just say things get really real. None of it is scripted. Well, EMS volunteers, nurses, and doctors alike have been nursing COVID patients back to health left and right, which brings me to this touching story out of Westchester.
Today is certainly one of the best days of Nelson Marietta's life. After 2 months in the hospital battling COVID-19, the 65-year-old Yonkers man is going home.
The most exciting thing is I'm alive.
Leaving the Broke Rehabilitation Hospital on Wednesday with a hero's welcome and a new lease on life.
Yes, another chance, to do the things much better.
The last 2 months have been the most difficult that Nelson has ever experienced. In April, his beloved mother Akita died of the virus, and shortly after that, he fell ill.
Oh, it was very hard, tough.
Nelson credits his medical team for nursing him back to life.
Bye-bye. Thank you, doctor.
With aggressive and experimental treatment, from plasma from other COVID-19 patients to respirators that he used until he could breathe on his own.
And we celebrate every single victory.
Nelson says what he's most humbled by is the love and support of his family.
It means everything, the biggest thing to keep me fighting. I never gave up.
And now that he's a free man, he has important things to do.
When I get home, a good shower. A good shower and a haircut. Look, oh my God. 3 months I couldn't cut my hair.
And after that, feasting on his favorite meal.
Aguado pollo.
Chicken soup with rice. Bon appetit, Nelson. Bon appetit.